All right, everybody, welcome back. Sam's Army, match week 21. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to start with the Premier League, featuring a whole lot of yawners from the midweek. Brentford is a certified wagon and PR101 session for Managerial Dummies. Halftime, a GKU related weekly what if. Around the world, maybe some US men's national team chatter and a little AFCON talk. Stoppage time with Ivan Tony's best bets and everyone's favorite segment, GOAWs. And now, time to welcome in your panel of beauties for this week, starting with, let's go with Mr. Tyler Terrence. So now I'm not saying this because I just had my heart ripped out and stomped on by a certain football team, but as a Jets fan, I feel like you probably are a foremost expert on this sort of thing. What is the worst loss you've experienced as a Jets fan? Help me feel better about myself is basically what I'm asking you to do.
The butt fumble on national television on Thanksgiving.
Okay. That was bad.
Yeah, like I could tell you, Colts in the AFC Championship game when we were up at halftime and we gave up a field goal in the last drive of the first half, and then Peyton Manning just torched us in the second. I could tell you the AFC Championship game the following year with under Mark Sanchez before he was running around and beating up homeless people. Like I could tell you all of these things hurt, but nothing has lasted as long or has left as deep of a cut as the butt fumble. My wife still gives me shit for the butt fumble.
And the fact it has a nickname means it's really bad, and the nickname being the butt fumble.
Yeah.
it's just cherry on top of the sundae. Okay. Thank you for sort of making me feel a little bit better about the Packers and my lot in life. Mikey, another NFL related question. Mikey Fowler, did you or did you not witness any angry Eagles fan related violence this weekend?
I didn't witness any, but this city is in a rough spot right now. I'll tell you that much. Nobody's holding doors. Nobody's saying thank you or excuse me. Just a real collection of angry dudes here today.
I guess that makes sense. I thought maybe in the city, you guys, I don't know if you consider yourself a Philadelphian at this point, but I figured everybody would be kind of nice to each other and then just mean to the outsiders, but they're just mean to each other as well.
I think that's about right.
Okay, fair enough. Duly noted. All right, let's move on. Now, before we get to Premier League, your weekly reminder, you got to get in Sam's Army Patreon, $3.99 a month. It's cheap as chips, as they say in some places. And it's just the best collection of soccer sickos on our Discord that has ever been seen. So get in there. I'm sure we'll have more bonus episodes coming. Tommy's brain blogs. I don't even know if he's alive at this point. By the way, I don't speak Gen Z. Is Tommy quitting on us? Is that what this is?
No, Tommy's been all over Europe. He's been watching Arsenal and traveling.
All over Europe in the middle of changing teams across the country in his professional playing career. And he's sick of your bullshit. And so I think that he's not quitting. I think he's taking a break.
All right. Tommy's quitting on us temporarily. All right. But back to this Sam's on our Patreon, $3.99 a month. Get in it right now and get access to the Discord. Shout out to our Discord sickos who are filing in one by one to the chat as we speak. Premier League. So it was an interesting week. We had a midweek slate of games, and then we had FA Cup this weekend. Going to kind of ignore FA Cup. I'm sure it'll come up here and there, but we're going to focus on the actual Premier League. So the games last week, there was the high-profile one, which everybody's looking forward to. Well, at least sort of looking forward to. Arsenal hosting Liverpool. That was 90 minutes back, I would like. But really, it wasn't the only game that was a bit of a yawner. We had City Brighton, wasn't great. Palace Villa, 0-0. There were 3 other draws, or at least 2 other. Burnley United, Everton Wolves. There are just draws everywhere. Now, a team that didn't draw, that would be Tottenham. We found a way to yank victory from the jaws of defeat against Bournemouth. Fulham beat Chelsea, Newcastle, and definitely the most entertaining game of the week, if not season. Came out on top of Leeds 4-3. And West Ham. Oh, West Ham. They found a way to lose to Nottingham Forest. And Brentford, as I said, is a wagon 3-0 over Sunderland. not bad. So I guess I'm not even going to ask you where we're going to start. We have to start with the highest profile game of the week, especially since we have a Tweedle and Liverpool fan here. So, Mikey, give us your thoughts on this 0-0 Arsenal-Liverpool game.
Woo. I was extremely disappointed by the performance from Arsenal. I think a lot of fans of Arsenal felt like this was an opportunity coming off the City drop points. Yet again, City's dropped 3 straight matches points, which for a Manchester City team, you have to take advantage of, especially when, Holland's not scoring and things aren't going their way. So I think people saw it as an opportunity to get right and build on the gap. And to Liverpool's credit, they were the better side in the second half. They did force they kind of had Arsenal out of ideas. Liverpool left the center backs open and let them kind of play as far forward as they wanted to, and they weren't able to do anything with it. It was a very disappointing. Slot got the better of Arteta tactically. I think Arsenal were out of ideas and second best in most balls, and Liverpool, for the credit I'm giving them, didn't offer anything really going the other way, bar the Bradley attempt. So both teams ended up content from 70 on with a draw, which for all of us is a major loss and I think a disappointment. But if Arteta sees that point as something to build off of instead of losing both to Liverpool, I guess you have to spin it that way. But disappointing for Arsenal fans.
Fair enough. Now on the other side of the fence, Liverpool, Tyler?
It's tough to disagree with anything that he said, right? Like when you come away from a 0-0 draw where Liverpool don't get a single shot on goal and Arsenal are barely able to generate anything. I mean, I thought that Bukayo Saka was going to have his way with Kirkes, and then all of a sudden Milos decides to put on his best defensive performance of the season so far.
His life.
He existed before Liverpool.
He was great.
I think as a Liverpool supporter, like I'm most encouraged by the fact that like Slot, as Mikey said, got a tactical game plan right, and the guys bought into it, and it clearly and it showed for 75 to 70 minutes. I would say first 20 minutes, Arsenal, had they put in a goal, I think they could have won 4 or 5-0. But the fact that Liverpool hung in and were able to not concede and hit the crossbar, I think sort of gave Arsenal a little bit of pause in terms of like how relentless they were going to be. That crossbar, I think, changed their thinking a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I like Mikey, like how were the nerves in terms of like that was a true missed opportunity to go 8 points clear instead of 6, and just like 6 comparatively to 8 there's a huge difference between that. 6 is 2 weeks. 6 is a Wednesday and a Saturday, and all of a sudden your buttholes are real tight. Like there's two.
Yeah, I will say, not giving up a goal, as weird as that sounds, is a we've been leaking goals at Arsenal have. So having Gabriel and Saliba back and being solidified, I think left back was a huge problem. I think Ben White's probably going to be the answer going forward after what we saw in the midweek. I thought Miles was as bad of a player. That was it was a shocking cameo.
He looked like he'd played like 5 games in a row, like on your youth tournament.
He never got warm. He got toasted.
Or close to Frimpong. He never came close to it.
It was terrible. It was really bad. It was a big, these are young kids, and it's a character thing, and that's a huge red flag for me.
But this is his second year of playing legitimate professional football. That happens sometimes, and he's been playing really inconsistently, and it's easy for his match fitness to drop like that when he hasn't been playing regularly.
Totally.
He's 19. Like, I mean, I don't know. I feel for the kid, but like I have Tweedle friends who are just like fucking sell him, put him on loan at the bare minimum, and I was just like,
yeah, this is the guy who was one of the better players in the pitch in the Champions League quarters last year. So I'm not ruling him out, but that was, there were a lot of players out there that really failed to deliver on the day. Disappointing.
Eze and Madueke come on, and like a lot left to be desired. I think Saka needs to take responsibility for the fact that he didn't. Like his game dropped significantly after the first 15 minutes. Like I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Like that didn't look like a championship winning side.
They sure didn't. And thank God Kai Havertz looked as good as he did at the weekend, because it's getting bleak up top. So,
well, You're not alone in that. We can get to Tottenham later. We're still talking about good
Not
teams
always
right
about
now.
you, Sam. Not always about you.
I know.
We
Listen,
spend more time at the bottom of the table than the top these days.
well, United and Tottenham have been doing that lately, unfortunately. Doing that to us anyway. Anything else on the game? Is just sort of it was disappointing. It's just like as a neutral or at least a third party, it was just disappointing. I kind of was hoping for at least an entertaining, exciting.
I've got a pivot question. What if Xabi Alonso wants the Liverpool job, Tyler?
Knew this was coming.
It was in the notes. Of course you did.
No. Like no. Well, I knew it was coming from Mikey too. Even with
It's all I can think about right now, truthfully.
For those who don't know, by the way, Xabi Alonso, who was, long-time Liverpool.
Is there anybody who would listen to this podcast that doesn't
know? I figured maybe
it's a great question.
But he was just fired from Real Madrid.
I'm not blaming you, Sam, for being redundant or anything, but I'm just genuine. I'm putting the question out there in the ethos into you two. Like, what is there a percentage of people who listen to our podcast, and I say that with the most disrespect possible, and don't know that Xabi Alonso has been fired? Like, I don't see a world in which that exists. But anyway,
that's fair.
No, I'm not like what. No, unless we crumble and like Xabi will keep his ears open and his eyes peeled for the next however many months. And honestly, like I was having this conversation with a couple of buddies, I'd rather have Luis Enrique at this point in time than Xabi Alonso.
Interesting.
And apparently that is more realistic than me just saying it out loud. At least Luis Enrique being available.
Were you okay with your performance at the Emirates?
With no number 9 and going up against the champions-elect and the atmosphere in the first... I think that the one positive was the atmosphere at the beginning of the game. I mean, it was bang on. And I think that Slot knew that was going to be the case. And Liverpool have struggled every time that they've gone to Emirates over the past, 3 years. Yeah, I think I was happy with it, which it says a lot for a Liverpool supporter, happy with their performance on the road against Arsenal and didn't register a shot on goal. I mean, that's my headspace is. But anyway,
I get you.
Also, as I think one of you guys already pointed out, City dropped points as well. 1-1 draw with Brighton. The other teams that were allegedly maybe in the title race, Aston Villa, they also dropped points. 0-0 draw at Palace. So yeah, I mean, like Arsenal, you could have had a tough week, or at least midweek, but it really wasn't. I mean, it was sort of everybody sort of shit the bed a little bit there. Not as bad as Spurs though. We found a new way to lose games. We actually scored a goal early, that's something new. Felt like okay, feel good about this. Tao scores a goal.
Really? Because I was ready to throw my mortgage on Bournemouth live.
I had to convince myself a little bit, but it was nice seeing us score a goal and kind of like do some things offensively, and maybe we might score another. Unfortunately, Bournemouth scored the next two, put us right back in our place.
Semenyo was not really trying that game either. I think that needs to be said. Anybody who watched him, he never hit 100% throughout the course of those 90 minutes.
And he didn't even need to hit 100% to score a game-winning goal against us in 95th minute, which is like the absolute storybook ending to his, story with Bournemouth. Because he then immediately, actually, we already knew he was going to City before the game. Now he's officially at City. He's already played for City. So it was.
He's already scored.
Yes, his quick turnaround.
Oh, he did score 9. I mean,
10.
True.
10. Sorry.
But yeah, like it was on his birthday as well. So
love that.
Absolute.
I wish I knew that.
Storybook story there. Jeez.
So can I ask you? Can we finally get you on record? I asked you in the Discord, are you Frank out? And you replied with a meme that Frank ruined your life or something. We're never going to get an answer. I'm going to ask you every week until he's gone. Can you give me an answer this week whether you want Frank out? You
didn't look hard enough at that meme that I sent. It was a guy who was chopping a tree.
Why don't you answer the question?
And I put in the little, text box my hope and my belief and whatever. What I was saying is that it is getting hard to be that tree.
My
God. It's tough. It's tough.
You guys see what I deal with?
the same conversation we had 6 months ago about Ange. The same one. Literally the same exact conversation.
Listen, I understand you guys are ready to jump ship on, especially a coach who doesn't coach your team, like the minute they lose a game. I know that's how it works around here. I get it.
Don't lump us in with the greater population of of Premier League musical chairs. That is not who we are. That's certainly not who Mikey is. I've never known Mikey to be that disrespectful and that inflammatory when it comes to talking about Spurs, number one. Number two is you don't say coach out until they're already out. Like, you didn't even say Ange should be out until he was fired. He was like, yeah, it was probably time for him to go. And it's like, well, you're not allowed to say that after he's already been axed.
You're rewriting history here. I said it was time to fire him after we won the trophy and before he got fired. I did say that the time had come.
When Fabrizio basically here we go did before here we go did, which
nobody listens to him these days anyway.
Jacobs
I'm not officially Frank out. I am officially losing faith quickly. Not even faith, losing hope.
Frank out are you right now? Frank out-o-meter.
Yeah, Frank out-o-meter. 39% Frank out. Like, because once you're 50%, you're out, right? I mean, that's what we're doing.
I figure 100% would be out, like in normal people.
Yep.
Okay, well,
where did you get 50%? Would mean that like
majority. He thinks he's voting.
Yeah, sort of like
what are we like voting on a bill right now? What is this, Congress? Like the
thing is that if you say you're 60% Frank out, you're out. You're Frank out.
You're 60% of the way of saying I think that our manager should be fired.
Okay, yeah, I guess that's kind of where I'm at. I was probably at about 75% until that second half against Villa, which basically ratcheted the meter down a little bit.
You're having hope beget hope with little 20 to 30 minute pockets of you guys playing good football, which is literally your story of the entire season. You guys play well for like fractions of games, and every single time they play well, you're like, oh, he should stay because they played for 20 minutes.
I've explained why I think that you guys just get on me when I say, because you're like, that's cliche. The injuries are a problem. Number one. Number two, I think that he has a resume that, granted, not with a team as big as Spurs, but he's shown that he can coach at a Premier League level.
Would you take Xabi Alonso if he went to the owners right now and said, I want to be the coach of Spurs?
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so then you want him out.
No.
And you know that there are better coaches available and that he should be fired.
Well, so did Xabi Alonso say he would take the Tottenham job? Do you think Xabi Alonso would take the Tottenham job tomorrow?
No, because I think it's a fucking disaster. Nobody wants to go near it.
I'm not going to sign off on that, but I don't think he wants the job, and I don't, I don't know. I do question whether we would be able to get a better replacement in January of 2026. And, I do think that he hasn't had a long time to impart his system. Like, I know that we're in 14th place. We get 2 more wins. You're the one that said this like 10 minutes ago. 2 more wins, 6 more points. We're in like 8th, 7th. I don't know what we're in, but like it's a very congested table, so that makes us look even, I think, worse than we have been. It's tough. Like, defending a manager who, to be honest, with Spurs has given us very little reason for hope is hard. You have to come up with, you just have to have some blind belief, which I do as a Tottenham fan. That's oftentimes what we have to fall back on, all the time. But basically, I do think that it's a little early to be throwing him out. I do say that I'm coming around on it. I'm coming around. He's just, my problem is that he seems unwilling or incapable of releasing the brakes. Like, he just seems too defensive and not willing to really go for it. And I thought that second half against Villa, I really do think that he probably felt under some serious pressure going into that second half when we got our asses handed to us by Aston Villa in the first half of the FA Cup game on Saturday. I do think that, and maybe it was just me, but I do think that he probably thought, you know what? If they hang 2 more goals on us and we just look like shit, it might be my ass. I might be out of here. And it seemed like the players responded to whatever it is he said at halftime, because we came out and we actually played well and gave them a game, which in the first half we absolutely didn't. So that second 45, it gave me hope. Solanke's back now, so that's good. We lost Richarlison, so it's always one step forward, one step back. I'm not Frank out right now, but I'm getting there. Is a long way. That's the long and short.
You're 39% of the way there to being 50%.
39% or 60%, depending on how you do it. All right. Any other games? Leeds, Newcastle, as a resident Leeds expert here.
The end of that, I got some problems with the extra 2 minutes there from Sir Referee. That thing, he gives 10 minutes, lets it go to 100 or 102, 12 full minutes, and Newcastle score the winner. He didn't look at his watch once until the goal went in. I think that was a next goal wins situation in his head. But no, I think Leeds can feel really hard done by. I truthfully do.
What did Larry say?
Oh, nothing we can share. But that was, that was a frustrating one. They've been in such good form. They look really good.
Brendan Aronson is red hot.
2 goals, and that's coming off a goal against United in their previous game.
But he's not thinking. Anytime he gets into the penalty area, he knows where he is. He's in the fucking zone.
He's really locked in. He looks great.
Which, if you go back 12 months, wow, what a turnaround for our boy, who is Sam fan, by the way. Could probably leave it there. I'm trying to think if there's any other games we needed to talk about. Chelsea got another red card in their new coaches.
Coaches incredulous that could possibly call the red card.
Cucurella he's a funny dude. Nottingham Forest.
Caicedo suspended again after accumulating since the red card. Just an unbelievable player.
There's no discipline problem though. Zero.
No discipline. None. Nope. Quickly, Brentford. Should we just give them flowers, or is there anything else we want to say about them?
Yeah, I've talked to Tommy a lot about them, actually. The system's incredible. So the minute they win it back, they play Janelt's feet, and he tries to drop a ball in between the center backs, and nobody's caught on. It happened again this weekend. It happened twice for Thiago the week before. They play Shada high. Basically, what it comes down to is Brentford have a system and a backroom staff and a consistency to them that it wasn't Mbuemo, it wasn't Vissa. Those are players that plugged in and coaches that plugged into a program and an organization. And they've showed, that their system and whatever they've got going on is really ticking well. So from the football director down, you have to give them flowers. It's really, really awesome to see.
The most impressive thing about what you said right there was you said nice things about Brentford while also shitting on Thomas Frank, which without even saying
that. I think it's pretty clear by now what was going on there.
He didn't go that far out of his way to shit on Thomas Frank. Like those. No,
things, you took that a little personally.
Yeah, those things.
I will say
those are linked. He didn't. That's not a stray.
that was a
you
stray.
You are sensitive right now. I'll tell you.
We're in 14th place and just.
Most people are sensitive after a move. I feel
true. It's true.
All right. Fuck. Well, I think we'll get to some of these other things that I want to touch on. We'll get onto them later. Oh, Manchester United. It sounds like Michael Carrick is taking over for Darren Fletcher. Talk about the most incestuous. It's like West Virginia. These guys are.
That's a shot.
That's a stray.
No, that's a stray.
I know. I even like West Virginia. I don't even know why I said that. But basically, incestuousness of this Manchester United club is crazy. Like they're unwilling.
Incestuality.
Incestuousness. I think that's a word.
I'm excited to see Michael Carrick back on the side. He should start.
Why is Ole not taking over this team?
It's true.
Maybe he will.
What do you mean?
There's talk of maybe both of them.
This is the guy. Coco.
Wouldn't that be great? Why not? Fucking do it.
We never have too many cooks in the kitchen, especially.
I'm like a United fan now. This is fun.
As much as I'm talking shit about them right now, they're also in seventh place.
I think Thomas Frank would do a good job with Manchester United.
Do you?
I do. Yes. I do.
Why? What gives you that thought?
Mbuemo.
that. It's just a bunch of guys who played for like Brentford level clubs and like
Yeah,
and like I just think like Xerxes, like I just think that he would do well with that
those
ragtag.
guys. Yeah. Should I save it for GOAWs or should we talk about Bruno Fernandes getting hacked last night?
It's on my goals. We can wait or we can talk about it.
Yeah, that club is so fucking funny at this point.
Are we going to stoppage time?
Yeah, we could save it.
We'll save it. Quickly, we'll touch on the other topics here. So FPL updates. We couldn't do it last week, so I at least got to give some shout outs to the people at the top of the table who Mikey is at the top of most tables, unfortunately, when it comes to both the Council of Elders, where you're up 150 points at this point, Jesus, and the Sickos, you're up only 30 points there. In the podcast wide league, where we actually have some massive brain people, Luke McCulloch still in first. Thomas Senef is in second. Brian Noland is in third. Aaron Raufling is in fourth, and then Mikey is in fifth.
Thomas, if you're listening, I know where you went to school and I know everything about you. I'm coming for your ass.
Mikey's been doing background research. Are you going to do research on Luke McCulloch now that he's up top?
Yeah, I will. I've been doing homework on all the guys above me. I'm gonna distract them enough to not set their lineups 1 week or two. I'm gonna try to get this title.
There you go. You're serious. All right, weekend preview. There are some interesting games coming up this weekend. Manchester Daerby gets us kicked off very early on Saturday morning. Brentford visiting Chelsea is an interesting one. Spurs versus West Ham is a disgusting matchup on Saturday. Saturday. Villa, Everton, Brighton, Bournemouth on Monday. Which one of those, Mikey, are you looking forward to most?
Can I say Spurs West Ham might be the funniest game of the year?
It's disgusting. I mean, it's a terrible, horrible game. Two fan bases who have, are this close to turning on their teams. Yeah, it could be real ugly.
No, the real answer is the Manchester Derby. And usually I take this opportunity to say things like, United have players and experience. They played Arsenal well at Old Trafford to start the season. Like they do have the individual ability to contend with anybody. That being said, this is the one time per year where I come on the pod and I say, watch out for an enormous number, because I think this could be like every year there's a derby that's like a 5-0 or a 6-1 or something. I think City could score 4 by half. This could be an unbelievable blowout. Truthfully, like picture Carrick walking in, giving away. They would, if they have any fucking intelligence, they won't trot him out this weekend. They would save it for the week after that and let somebody take a lick this weekend.
I think it's one of two ways. I think they could win the game, and I think that City's a little wounded right now. Like they've come out in the past and played City tough in strugglesome moments. I'm not saying
Yeah, they held him to a draw last year at Old Trafford. The year before that, they beat him in Old Trafford in January in 2023, but they've only played them twice since then. They've gotten a draw from it, so it's not like out of the question.
And City's coming off of 3 straight draws befall that 10-1, just absolutely annihilation of a lower.
Yeah, I think this is an alternate spread chaser. I think it's all the way to 5. I'm not kidding.
So you mean City minus 4.5 type?
Yeah.
Okay. It'll be an interesting one. Regardless, it will be interesting to see if they bring a new manager in for that one. That'd be a tough start. Chelsea hosting 5th place, by the way, 5th place Brentford on Saturday. Should be an interesting game.
Thiago anytime.
The individual betting champion here, Mikey. Got to listen to him when he talks. All right, halftime, weekly what if, quickly. This is a shout out to Grant Wilson, by the way, who came up with this in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, get in it by getting in the Sam's Arm Patreon right now. If all of your club's keepers are injured in one game, which outfield player would you trust most between the pipes?
On your club?
Your club.
It's fair. I think the answer for Arsenal fans is one of two. You just have to go with the most athletic, right? I think it's Declan Rice. I think he could probably do a job. Quick, big, size. And then sneakily, I think Urian Timber would be a pretty good keeper. I think he's got a really good all-around physicality and athleticism to him.
How
I could
tall
see
is
him
he?
being not huge, but probably about Raya's size. Yeah. Brian's probably 6 feet, 5'11". I would go with Timber. The obvious answer is Gyökeres because the ball never ends up in the net after it touches him. But no, it's Declan Rice for me.
Oh, Gyökeres. The guy's having a tough season.
Might be
Okay,
Lewis
fair enough.
Skelly, honestly. If that's a good way for him to stick around.
Right, then he doesn't have to run, which that's
Yeah.
a good thing. Tyler, what about Liverpool? Who would you go with?
Rio and Gamoa. Young.
Really?
No, I'm kidding.
I was like, what?
Probably. I think Konate, like he's lanky, he's long,
Yeah.
he's athletic. Like I just think he'd be all over the place. I wouldn't trust him with his feet more than I think Allison has better feet than he does.
I was going to say,
You should swap them.
The fact you're taking Konate over, say, Van Dijk, is that just because you wouldn't be losing as much on the field if you did that?
No, I'm not worried. No. I just think that Konate has more spring in his legs, and I just think he's more athletic and can reach those balls that are aimed for the top bin, not coming from anybody on Arsenal.
Okay, fair enough. I would go with one of our center backs, probably Van de Ven, if we're talking about athleticism.
It's your best player.
Well, I know, but listen. Well, Charleston has no hamstrings right now.
Sideline. Yep, you got that going for
you. What's wrong with Van de Ven? We're not.
I added losing something on the field.
I know. I added that twist at the end, which I was just wondering what your thought process was on that. I'm just saying the best goalkeeper among our field players, I think it's got to be Van de Ven. He's the most athletic, and he's also tall, and he's a big dude. That's what I'm going with. Shout out Grant. Well done. All right. Around the world, U.S. men's national team chatter. We've already talked about Brendan Aronson. Josh Sargent. Rumors are he is on the way to Toronto FC. And this is from a Norwich side. It looks like it's on the verge of being in relegation, unfortunately. So I don't know. Tyler, any thoughts on this for him and or his sort of chances for the World Cup?
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting move. Last cycle, 2 cycles ago, 3 cycles ago, would be unheard of for somebody who was playing in Europe, who was playing in the second division in England, 6 months out from a World Cup, to be searching for a move to Major League Soccer. I think that in and of itself is something we can talk about for 3 hours. But first of all, 18 million for him is outrageous. I know that might be the asking price for a striker of championship caliber coming to Major League Soccer. I get it to a certain extent, or Premier League striker some years. But I think he's got a ton to prove. I think that he's hungry. He's got legs. He runs. I think it'd be a great pickup for Toronto. But I guess it's not my money, so might as well spend 18 million. Who cares?
Crazy number.
I mean, that's a lot of money. TFC does spend money, so it wouldn't be unheard of. If he does come back to MLS, I think it's too bad that he doesn't end up with St. Louis. I know that's just sort of...
Well, they don't spend, so...
Right. I know that's not happening. It'd be cool if he ended up there. But yeah, okay, good shout. Interesting to see. Also on the strike, U.S. men's national team striker news front, Ricardo Pepi. Oof, that injury did not look good. He's going to be out for a few months, hopefully, just that. But yeah, that sucks because we're just talking about whether he should move to Fulham. That's obviously off, at least for the time being. Now, we did make some arguments why that was a risky move, but it could have been a high upside as well. But just too bad with the injury. AFCON, Mikey, I know you've been watching this. We're down to the semifinals now, and it does feel like the best 4 teams. This doesn't always happen. It does feel like the best 4 teams are still alive in this tournament. Nigeria is just we could talk about, talk for 3 hours about players coming back to MLS. You could talk about the Nigeria team and the shit they got going on the field and off the field for hours at a time. But as our resident AFCON expert, what do you got to say so far, Mikey?
Nigeria are the story. Box office in terms of their off the field stuff, but also probably the best team on the pitch so far. Senegal have underperformed and snuck through. Egypt leak goals. So I think that Senegal-Egypt game is going to be really interesting. I think that's going to go to pens. I think it's going to be a low-scoring 0-0, 1-1 match and go to pens. The other side, I think Nigeria, this is the final. Nigeria-Morocco is the final. It's in Morocco. The Nigeria team can get rattled. Morocco coming off a big win against Cameroon. Brahim Diaz is the player of the tournament. He scored in every match thus far. I think that's going to be one of the more entertaining football matches of the calendar year, is the Nigeria-Morocco match in Marrakesh. And I think Morocco wins. I
Now,
do. And I think Nigeria crash out.
you can obviously see, I know why you said Nigeria can get rattled, but they just played Algeria in a stadium that was 97%, at least it sounded like 97% Algeria fans. So if they get rattled, they get rattled from their own internal disorganization, whatever. Which
it's all that off by just screaming at everybody every time he doesn't touch the ball.
Yeah, it's gotten worse since we watched that time, Tyler.
He's a fucking lunatic. He's a lunatic.
The thing is, Sam, this Algeria team is caught in between two eras. There's a really late stage Mahrez type of player on that team, and then there's really good early 20s players. Maz is amazing. I think Amora is going to have a great career, Chaibi. But Morocco is this is golden generation Morocco. Peak. Yeah. Ez Al-Zouli, the player opposite of Brahim Diaz, is probably going to go for 40 plus million. In a transfer flow, wrote a good piece about him recently. El Kanous, Hakimi's healthy. Morocco is Algeria is no Morocco. I will tell you that.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. And this is a Nigeria team, by the way. And as you said, I do think that they've looked like the best team so far in the tournament. They just crashed out of World Cup qualifying a few months ago.
Yeah, the AFCON qualification ended in 23 for 26, which is unbelievable. Quickly, while we're on this, have you heard the discussion about Iwobi going on? Have you been seeing all that?
No, he's played well in the tournament.
Nigerians believe that he's had a better international career than Zidane and are starting to put him in the absolute top tier of midfielders ever to play international soccer.
He has been good, to be fair.
There's a lot of that going around. If you do some digging, the Iwobi stock has never and will never be higher than it is right now amongst Africans and amongst fans of the game.
I love Nigeria fans on social media. They are nuts, and they're I don't know if it's like
they're like the England of AFCON.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's gotta be. They're totally. They're so passionate, and they are just and they're homers, which that's fair. No problem with that. But if we're talking about Iwobi and this,
they've got the freshest. They've got some serious drip too. I mean, good Lord Almighty! Like Nike does it right with Nigeria
always. All right, we are on to stoppage time. Here. Oh boy. Yes, Mikey. Yes, haters.
Why do you think I don't want you to win bets?
I know. You know I know, and I know
Thomas Frank tired. He's not trying to hurt your pocket.
No, I'm not.
All right, we're coming off of a 4-for-4 week where we did have one game postponed. Unfortunately, they took money out of my pocket on Friday, but that's okay. We got the other 4, and we had some plus 3.5s that all hit. It was just a good week, really good week. A-League is back in action, although I don't have one for them this week, but just feeling real good about having Tony's best bets in the Overtrain. Reminder, this is Overtrain. These are all going over 2.5, one a day, Wednesday through Sunday. Now, if there's an exception, I will say if it's going over something higher than 2.5. So on Wednesday, we're starting the Bundesliga. RB Leipzig is hosting Freiburg. Thursday, this one is going over, wait for it, 4.5. Over 4.5. This one's a crazy one. Thursday, Racing Santander is hosting Barcelona in the Copa del Rey. This is a Santander team that is at the top of La Liga 2. Barcelona just won a cup. They're probably a little tired coming from Saudi Arabia, et cetera, et cetera. So they're going to score, but I think that Santander might score 1 or 2 on them. So I'm going over 4.5 on that on Thursday. Friday, we're going to Saudi Arabia, Al Ittihad and Al Ettifaq. Saturday, Dinamo Dresden and Gruther First in the Bundesliga 2. And Sunday, we're going to Portugal. Vitória de Guimarães is hosting Porto. So they're all 2.5, except for Thursday's Copa del Rey over 4.5. All right, Tyler, what do you got for Ivan Toney's best bet this week?
All right, so I feel like I let a lot of you down last week because I got away from what makes me me. I got away from my identity. I tried to be cute. I tried to do some sort of like Mikey shots on target bullshit, and it just didn't fucking work. Okay, Saka let me down. Arsenal let me down. Both teams let me down, to be fair. So we're going back to regularly scheduled programming here. So I've got a draw between United and City. I've got Liverpool money line. I've got Brentford beating Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, and Liam Rohn Sr. already going to feel the heat by the end of those 90 minutes. And then I've got Spurs pulling out a win for a cool plus 37.84.
There we go. There we go. That's the Tyler we know and love. You're still living large in the overall cumulative because you hit that one that was like, I don't know, plus 2,000 or something right before your wedding. Okay, plus 3,700. Casual as you like. Mikey,
Gotta get back to the basics. Gotta get back to our
first principle. It's got to be a parlay and it's got to have a comma. Mikey, what do you got?
2 individual goal scorers and then them both together. 1 unit each on the goal scorer and 1 unit on the parlay. Plus 560 total. So Ramiro Enrique in Saudi Arabia, he's guaranteed to score. I won't even question that whatsoever tomorrow. He will be scoring in the 10:25 a.m. kickoff Eastern time. And then you can relax and kick your feet up until the 2:30 slate starts. And Maxi Bayer, who scored in his last 2, and Dortmund are at home. Dortmund have scored in their last 26 matches. He's the only guy on the roster that's been scoring lately. I like Maxi Bayer and Ramiro Enrique. 1 unit each. They're both around plus 140, 170-ish. And then put them together, plus 560. That's your play.
That's 2 score.
If
right?
Ramiro Enrique, if Enrique is such a lock, why aren't we putting 2 or 3 units on it?
I'll put 5 units on Ramiro Enrique on his own for the official play on our books. How about that?
Get it, Eric. Get it in the books.
I'm going to tail. So, like, if this is going to be a Mikey Fowler lock, let's make it a Mikey.
Ramiro Enrique will be scoring at 10:27, 2 minutes in tomorrow morning, and you'll have a nice fat payday.
Who does he play for? I don't even know what am I?
Al Khaloud.
Of course.
He's got 10 goals in 15 matches since he moved to Saudi Arabia, and he's
Ramiro Enrique, like from Orlando City?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
He's got 10 in 15 matches in Saudi. He's an auto bet for me. And last week, this is where I love the spot. He had scored in a bunch in a row. And then in the last match, they got an early red card and they subbed him off at half. So he's going to be like, fuck.
He's hungry.
Yeah, he's fresh. So I like Ramiro Enrique. And they're playing the second worst team in the league. It's away, which I don't love, but he's going to score. He's going to take 6 shots. So if you can find a book for shots on target, do that. I can't, though.
I put 2 units on it.
Good.
Boom. And by the way, if you ever are bored and have nothing else better to do, it's actually really interesting to go through the Saudi League rosters and just see some of the guys that are over there.
I bet Saudi every day.
And by the way, a lot of goals.
And
Wijnaldum scores every week.
And this is why I get text every single month for me to pay out Mikey and the rest of you degenerates, so that from the minimal amount of money that we bring in from you Patreon providers here.
It's true. It's very true.
It's true.
My guy of today was Alvaro Madron, who Chicago Fire fans will remember maybe not so fondly. He's playing for El Atifak, and so he played today, and he will be playing on the weekend when they score a bunch of goals against El Atifak. Okay, there we go.
Alvaro Madron, goal or assist. He should have stayed in MLS. He wanted to be a DP, and he thought he was DP material because he used to play for Real Madrid back in the day. But Chicago Fire said no.
The youth. Real Madrid. All right. We will move on to GOAWs. I think there's some good ones. I have some interesting ones. Sounds like Mikey's going to take at least one of mine. So, Mikey, why don't you go first?
Listen, do you want to just go ahead and talk about Bruno Fernandes first while I pull this up?
Sure. Bruno Fernandes, by the way, as Mitchell would say. Shout out to Bruno for setting his password as BF1234 or something, because he got hacked last night and somebody just went ham on his Twitter. I have a whole bunch
Crazy.
of tweets saved. There's some interesting ones. There's some funny ones. Mikey, what do you want to take it from here?
No, I just love that Manchester United tweeted, "Nobody interact with Bruno Fernandes. He's been hacked." And Bruno replied, "Oh fuck, I won't. Thank you," which I
Right.
thought was unbelievable.
And retweeted it, and it did all sorts of other stuff. He was talking a lot
He
of
was
shit.
on fire.
It
Yeah,
was
I'll give
pretty
you my
funny.
real go if you want. And
Yeah,
I
who's your real?
listen. This is not me being insensitive. Okay, I want to get that out of the way. You cannot cancel me. Do not cancel me. Do not put me in the newspaper. But my Goa this week is Shay Given. That absolute moron. First,
That was
I see the
unfortunate use of
apology.
words.
I see the
Yeah.
apology, and I'll read the apology. On for anybody who doesn't know the story, play along in this little game. On live television this afternoon, I used a word I didn't fully understand the meaning of. We all have areas of ignorance, and I hope to use this as an opportunity to become better educated. I will be donating my fee to blank. I am genuinely mortified and apologize. You would imagine that's a difficult word or something that maybe isn't that common or doesn't come up that often. No, he called Wilfred Nancy's time at Celtic a Holocaust, which, yeah, he called
What?
on air. He said it was the actual quote that he said was it was an absolute Holocaust. Was Wilfred Nancy's time at Celtic? So
Was he trying to go for like catastrophe? What in the world?
not only a slip of the tongue is one thing, but the apology saying he didn't know what it meant and he had an area of ignorance is so fucking funny. I'm sorry, it is. Like, I know it's super offensive and it's terrible, but that objectively, what a fucking idiot. That is unbelievable. So Shay Given is my Goa this week.
That's a fair shout.
Dumbass.
Tyler's dumbfounded over there.
You hadn't seen that story, Tyler, right?
No.
And did you think that's where I was going with that? Because it's
No.
yeah, unbelievable.
It doesn't even make sense. I've never heard something like that before. And like, listen, I get it. And like, I've spent enough time in the world of football around, like, I'm not trying to be like also just like painting with a really bad brush over a group of people. But I think we can all agree here. Like, if you've spent enough time with somebody from a particular part of the UK, there's a level of humor and a level of darkness that comes with that. And like, I've learned to just sort like, okay, I'll give you an example. I was playing with this Irish dude one time, okay? And like out of nowhere, he called me a Jew bag and not knowing that I'm Jewish. And I was like, I'm sorry, what did you say to me? And he goes, yeah, you're a Jew bag. And I was like, no, I don't know. Like, what does that mean? He was like, it's like the same thing if you were like, he's like, you call each other that all the time. It's like, no, a Jew bag.
Yeah, but
I know.
he said, yeah.
But is he saying it's kind of like the same thing?
Same thing as D-bag or asshole or moron. Like that, yeah, it's like that equivalent.
Okay.
So
Terrible.
I can understand like that. Like I get it to a certain. I didn't love it. I said, don't call me that. I was like, you can call me,
please.
Don't call me that.
Jeez.
Never in my life did I think that was that was like going. Yeah, never.
Yeah, Shay Given just saying something was the Holocaust on television. Legend. Idiot.
Incredible widow speak on that guy.
He's such a fucking moron.
Tyler, go on. What do you got?
Wow, I mean, I don't really know where to go.
How do you follow that up?
I don't know how to follow.
Sorry.
By the way, I'm not making some sort of overarching comment about like Irish people or anything like that, but that is just the group. That is the nationality of the person. He spoke for all Irish people. He was like, yeah, we call each other that all the time. I just want to make that very clear. Please don't cancel me. Please don't put me in the newspaper, as some might say. But I was going to give it to the Macclesfield owner who bought his club on a bender, but that seems like really tame and sort of like not all
That's
that
sick.
Yeah, it's cool, but is it as incendiary as saying
it's
it's
not as incendiary? But remember, just like Mitch usually brings a plus and a positive and a negative, Mike brought the negative. Macclesfield owner. So this is Macclesfield, the 6th-tier team, non-league club that beat Premier League and FA Cup returning champs, Crystal Palace.
Coached by Wayne Rooney's brother.
Yes, Macclesfield's was it John Rooney? He said, yeah, brother. And so immediately after the game, they talked to the owner on Sky Sports, and he's just like, yeah, I mean, when I bought these guys and I was drunk, I can't even believe that we were here. Like I thought we were going to get beat 6 or 7-0. Just a cool, a good guy sounding. One of us who just got drunk and bought a non-league football team. Good shout. I got a couple here. I got to give one to Gabriel Martinelli, who had a hell of a week. So started out talking about positives and negatives. Started out very negative. Real douchebag move. I was calling him all sorts of bad words in the Discord because what he did when Connor Bradley got hurt was it was just ugly. I know. So basically, Connor Bradley got hurt trying to clear the ball. Martinelli must not have seen him, get hurt, but Martinelli assumed that Connor Bradley was just sort of faking injury and wasting time at the end of the Liverpool Arsenal game. And he was right on the edge of the field. And so first Martinelli just threw the ball at him. And then Martinelli kind of circled around him and used his knee to kind of push him off of the field. I'm going to give Martinelli just a little bit of benefit of the doubt and assume that he had no idea that Connor Bradley was actually hurt. Now, in that scenario, it's still what he did is still a douchebag move, but not as bad. Regardless, it was just an ugly, ugly move. And then turns around and scored a hat trick at the weekend. So interesting little week there for Gabriel Martinelli. Who else did I have? I had Macclesfield. I had Liverpool's physiotherapist who transferred Ekitike off of his FPL team.
Awesome
and
story
everybody saw it and was like, and so everybody knew that Ekitike wasn't going to be playing this weekend. So only dumbasses,
I would have seen
myself included.
Where do I get information of Shay Given's comments and the athletic and the AT for Liverpool taking Ekitike? What am I missing? What is my?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I need to get on that too. I only saw one of the two. Also, Arda Güler, who the kids are now calling Aurelus Güler, who after Real Madrid lost to Barcelona in the El Clasico Super Cup final in Saudi Arabia this weekend. Great game, 3-2. But after they lost, his reaction was to kick a water bottle in frustration, except he slipped and fell directly on his ass. And everybody had their phone out and was recording it because he was right by the ball at the final whistle. So everybody got videos of it. So all these videos are going viral. That's unfortunate. But my actual GOA for the week is managers who are dumbasses, specifically Thomas Frank and Nuno. So I actually would like to hear from you guys who you guys think this is the worst, a worst look. And by the way, these are managers that are going to be playing each other this weekend in that ugly Tottenham West Ham game. But before the game against, I believe it was against Bournemouth on Tuesday or Thursday, I guess it was, Thomas Frank was seen drinking out of a cup that had it was Arsenal cup. I don't know in what world he doesn't see that or know that or understand that is going to be maybe the worst thing you could possibly do in that sense. Obviously it's a very, stupid thing to do. And I was way more pissed about getting our asses handed us by Arsenal than I was about him holding a cup and drinking from it with Arsenal. But in terms of PR and the optics of it, bro, you are on the hot seat. People are calling for your ass left and right. And you do this. Dumb. Very dumb. Now, on the other hand, Nuno, after Nottingham Forest and the West Ham game, where he's now the coach of West Ham, he goes and hugs a bunch of the opposing players on Nottingham Forest, who is a team that he coached until he got fired a few months ago. Just the optics of these moves by them are just brain, numbing. So quickly, Tyler, which one did you think was a worse look?
Frank obviously didn't know what he was drinking out of. If he knew it was Arsenal, he never would have done it. So you can't say that, what is he thinking that's going to be the worst thing ever? He clearly didn't see it. And Nuno hugging players that he coached, what? I don't know, man.
On the field after you lose. All right. Tyler's got dinner plans, if you couldn't tell. Mikey, Tyler, you guys are the best. Tommy, I don't know. He's doing something. Maybe he's quiet quitting on us, Gen Z style. Mitch will be back soon. Everybody else, get in the Sam's Army Discord by getting in the Patreon. See you guys next week. Bigger, better, faster, stronger.